Welcome to ABC Interactive English. Hello, everyone. I'm Mike.
And hi, I'm Rainbow.
And today we are talking about the dog and the shadow.
Part 3.
It's part 3, that's right. It's our final day with the dog, the shadow, or the reflection that he saw in the river of his own face, and also the bone that he had in his mouth. He saw the reflection of a bigger bone, and he decided to get that bone by jumping in the river and stealing the bone from the other dog. There was one problem though, right?
What was the problem? It wasn't real?
It wasn't a real dog in the river.
Oh my gosh, and he lost the bone.
His own face. So when he jumped in the river, he lost the bone. We think the bone fell in the river.
And he fell in the river himself.
And he fell in the river. And apparently it wasn't just a nice, gentle little stream. It was a powerful, flowing river. So at the very end of yesterday's story, it's actually not funny. It's a little scary now. The dog was starting to struggle. The water was pulling him down and moving him away from land. He can't swim very well. And this could be a very, very, very bad and dangerous situation for our dog friend. Even if he's greedy, we still like him, right? We still want him to live.
Ugh.
Right? But he could die. We don't know what's going to happen. So let's get to our story, The Dog and the Shadow, Part 3, as we try to figure out how the dog is going to save himself and also wonder if he will learn that being greedy is not always the best idea in life.
Yeah, hopefully the dog learns his lesson. Let's check it out.
Find out. The dog didn't want to die, so he swam for his dear life. With a lot of effort and energy, he was able to reach the shore. It took the dog a while to climb out of the river. Once he was on land, the dog stood and looked at the water. He thought about what just happened. So yes, here we are with The Dog and the Shadow, Part 3. And our friendly dog, our friendly greedy dog, is swimming for his life in the river, trying not to drown. I imagine he's forgotten about the bone at this point. Now he is just trying to stay alive. So let's find out what happens.
The dog didn't want to die, so he swam for his dear life. With a lot of effort and energy, he was able to reach the shore. He was probably very tired.
I'm sure he was exhausted.
Against the current.
Yes, that's right. Dogs, of course, can swim naturally. They don't have to take lessons like we do, but they're not very good swimmers. Right? I don't think they can swim very far for very long. They would get tired very quickly, but luckily he was able to reach land, or as it said in the article, he was able to reach the shore.
Yeah, so the shore is that part that's like by the beach or where the water meets the land and where you can finally stop swimming. And so anything that's by the shore is just the land that's by the water.
Exactly right. So the water is not deep, and then he can finally crawl out of the water and get onto dry land. And of course, being very, very tired, even that was difficult. As the article says, it took the dog a while to climb out of the river. You might have seen this in nature shows, right? Sometimes animals will get chased into the water and then they swim and they can get exhausted. They can get very, very tired.
So wet.
So there he is. He drags himself out of the water just far enough that he can lie down and breathe and get his energy back and then maybe pull himself out a little bit further. But this is one tired dog. So once he was on land, the dog stood and looked at the water. Okay, well, I bet once he was on land, the dog stood. He shook all over, because dogs always do that, right? And then he looked at the water. He wants to dry himself off before he thinks about the huge mistake that he just made.
Did he understand what happened?
Well, we'll get to that. He's just happy he's not dead and he's a little bit dry. It says then he thought about what just happened. So So at this point, once he's like, okay, I'm not dead. I could have died. What the heck was all that about? Why did I get in that very dangerous situation? That's a good thing to think about, Mr. Dog. I applaud you for your intelligence at looking at your mistakes. Let's find out what he thought about after the break. Then the dog realized something. He had a good bone all to himself. However, he lost it because he was greedy. That was very stupid of him.
So after that dog jumped straight into the river, he realized that the current was so strong and he had to swim and swim and swim to get himself to the shore, which luckily he found before he got too tired. So he wasn't in danger, but as soon as he got onto the shore, he realized he really needed to think about what happened.
That's right. Well, he's not in danger now that he reached the shore, but before in the water, he was in a lot of danger. If the river hadn't been small enough for him to swim to the shore, he could have drowned. He could have died in the water by swallowing water and just sinking under the water and dying. So very close. So he's thinking about this, like what happened and what mistakes did I make and what are the bad choices that I just made there? But then it says, then the dog realized something. Oh, okay, so this is quite an intelligent dog. He realized something after thinking about the problem and what happened and his mistakes. When you realize something, it's kind of like you work through a lot of ideas and information, and suddenly it all kind of makes sense. Suddenly you can put the pieces together like it was a confusing puzzle and you didn't know what was what, and then, oh, now I understand. Now I get it. Now I realize what that person was trying to tell me, for example. They didn't use clear language. They didn't speak English or Chinese well, but now I can think about it a little bit. Now I can make some good discoveries about things. So basically, when you realize something, you take information that was hard to understand or confusing before, but by thinking about it or maybe getting someone's help to explain it, now it makes sense. Now the pieces all fit. Now you understand it. So what has he realized about himself and what he did to get in trouble?
He had a good bone all to himself.
He did.
However, he lost it because he was greedy.
He did.
That was very stupid of him.
That was.
It was. So he really wasn't that dumb in the end because he did realize and it seemed like he learned a lesson. And that lesson was that being greedy was no good. Greedy is the adjective of wanting something that isn't yours. It belongs to someone else, or it was bigger and better than what you had and you just wanted to go for it. You wanted more than what you already had and maybe more than what should have been yours. And that's over the top. It was so much more than maybe you could even handle when you just desire something so much on a big scale. And that's so bad because at the end, you probably lost what you had in the very beginning, and that was so stupid.
That's almost what happened to our dog. Yes, of course, because you're right, he was greedy, but he's just one dog with one mouth. He can't eat two bones at the same time. So he should have been just happy with what he had. And you're right, he made some stupid decisions and he got into a lot of trouble because he acted in a stupid kind of way and made stupid mistakes. When you do something stupid, you do something that wasn't very smart, it wasn't very intelligent. It doesn't mean maybe that you're stupid. It just means that you didn't think about things carefully. You acted before you had time to really think and make a plan. Maybe you made a mistake and you're not happy with yourself. You're angry at yourself for doing something stupid, for doing something careless. This isn't a great word to use to talk about other people or yourself too much, But you know, once in a while, you forget to set your alarm clock in the morning and then you're late for school. Oh, that was really stupid. I should have checked before I went to bed last night. Or you decide to jump into a river to steal a bone
from your own reflection.
From a dog that's not there and you almost die trying to do that. Yeah, that's pretty stupid.
That's pretty stupid. Okay, so actually we know this story is about greed, and we learned that greed is very bad because you should be happy with what you have. Yeah. Now, Mike, are there some English idioms that could help us remember that?
Ah, that's a good question. Well, this story, of course, is very old. I think it was one of Aesop's stories.
Ooh, Fables.
Wrote, all those great stories back in Greek times. And yes, because of this idea that we always are a little greedy, we always want more. We do have some good expressions. One of the older ones might be a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush.
What does that mean?
In other words, if you have something good, that's as good as having two things, but you don't have them yet. So in other words, don't give up the good thing you have because you're trying to get something better. If I have a bird in my hand, like I caught a bird, I can eat that for my lunch. But there's the sound of two more birds over there. If I put this one down, I could catch those and I'll have two birds. But maybe they'll fly away, and while I'm trying to chase them, a dog or a cat or a fox will come and steal my other bird, and then I end up hungry. So I was a little too greedy. And of course, we have that expression, the grass is always greener on the other side. The other dog's bone looked bigger and juicier and tastier. It made our dog unhappy with what he had, but what he had was pretty good. So just be happy with what you have and don't let your greed lead you into making stupid mistakes.
Yes, and take care of what you have. That one is the grass is greener where you water it.
The grass is greener where you water it. That's good life advice and good gardening advice too. Thanks for joining us, guys. We're going to have more good stuff for you. Until then, though, take care and take care of yourselves and your bones and your dogs.
Oh, yeah.
And each other. Bye.
Bye.
The dog didn't want to die, so he swam for his dear life. With a lot of effort and energy, he was able to reach the shore. It took the dog a while to climb out of the river. Once he was on land, the dog stood and looked at the water. He thought about what just happened. Then the dog realized something. He had a good bone all to himself. However, he lost it because he was greedy. That was very stupid of him.
Hi, I'm Tina. 我们来看这一课的重点单字。第一个 shore 名词，岸边。We walked along the shore and collected seashells. 我们沿着岸边散步，收集贝壳。Seashell 指的就是贝壳。下一个单字 realize 动词领悟明白。I didn't realize how much time had passed. 我没有意识到时间过了多久。下一个单字 greedy 形容词贪心的贪婪的。Sophie was very greedy. She took all the food. Sophie 非常贪心，把所有食物都拿走了。最后一个单字 stupid 形容词愚蠢的。It was a stupid mistake. 这是一个愚蠢的错误。接着我们来看重点文法。第一个 for dear life 叛命的，尽全力的，这是一个副词片语。课文中呢 for his dear life 用 his 来强调语气。我们来看看这个例句。Lily held onto the rope for dear life when the boat rocked. 当船摇晃时 Lily 叛命地抓住绳子。Rock 指的就是摇晃。下一个文法 once 加主词加第一个动词，再来主词加第二个动词。一怎么样就怎么样。Once 是从属连接词，表示当假事发生就会接着做意事。我们来看看这个例句。Once you finish your homework, you can go out to play. 你一完成作业就可以出去玩了。最后一个文法 all to oneself. 某人独享。我们来看看这个例句。After everyone left, I had the quiet house all to myself. 在大家都离开后，我独享了整个安静的房子。以上就是这一课的重点单字跟文法，我们下一课再见，拜拜。
Do you know what a geopark is? Basically, it is a protected area with important geology, which means the study of Earth and its components, such as rock formations. Yehliu Geopark is an important location that I think is definitely worth a visit. Let's find out more about it, shall we? Along Taiwan's northern coast, candles rise up out of the ocean. Blocks of tofu float in the water. A queen with a beautiful thin neck watches over everything. All of these wonders were made by nature. You can see them at Yehliu Geopark. Yehliu is an amazing place. Over many years, wind and waves created a lot of different shapes there. Rocks look like shoes, fish, or dragons. The most famous one is Queen's Head Rock. Everyone wants to take a picture with it. After spending time on the rocks by the sea, visitors can go to Yehliu Ocean World. There, they can learn about sea animals. So what are you all waiting for? This might be your best chance to take a photo with the Queen. Unfortunately, the neck of the Queen's head is gradually getting smaller year by year, so you might want to make haste and go visit Yehliu Geopark as soon as you can before her neck snaps.